All right, welcome to chapter 6. And this one here is about methods and event handlers. But I mean, part of this is going to be stuff that we've been kind of getting for free. Did you notice that, for example, when we double clicked on the calculate button, it created us this sort of this method, this event handler. So what I want to do is I'm going to definitely probably have about 3, maybe actually there'll be more. There'll be more for this chapter. It's kind of an important idea, but to refresh your mind a little bit from what we learned in Python, we're basically creating these methods, right? We're creating these methods. And so this is a method called disable button. Now notice it's not really passing anything out. It's not really passing anything in. So the arguments, right, it's not passing anything out. That's why it says void, and then nothing's going in. And all it does is when this event is called or whatever, it basically grabs a couple of properties and makes some adjustments. So this is basically no parameters, no return type. This is another example. This guy, the method itself is called get discount percent. It takes in one argument where you have to define the data type and then what the actual thing coming in is. And we know that this thing is going to actually bring back out a decimal. So one thing's going in, one thing's coming out. You don't have to worry too much about any of this code, although you should be a little bit more familiar with this now from the previous videos. But notice that we have a new thing showing up, return. What return is going to do is it's going to basically take this variable and it's going to throw it out. It's going to return it when this thing's finished. This, thankfully, is a decimal, right? The variable itself is defined here as being a decimal. It gets passed out. And so this guy knows that this guy, the method knows I'm going to get a decimal. I'm going to spit out a decimal. And then in this case, this method, calculate future value, is going to take in this decimal, and this integer. It's going to do a calculation like we just kind of did in the previous example, and then it's going to return that, which thankfully is a decimal. All right, so with all that said, we're going to do it the easy way first, and that's what the first couple lines are in exercise 6.1. We're going to do this by something that they call refactoring. All right, so let's move this thing out of the way and look at our code again. This is the solution file, by the way. This is the start solution file for this chapter, but it's really close to the one that we actually did. All right, so here's the deal, right? What if instead of doing all this work inside of this event, I could basically take some of this engine here, take this, and shoot it out as its own method. That way I could call it in multiple spots. I don't necessarily have to just have it sitting in this spot. Well, what I could do is I could highlight the code, right click, no, sorry, yeah. Well, where was I with this? Hold it. Yeah, take that and right click. And I thought, no, of course, it's not right clicking. Oh my goodness. Okay, by the way, I got my tools mixed up. This one here, you go control period, boom. Now control period brings up stuff which is easy for you to miss, but right there, I can take this code and extract it as its own method. So when I click on this, what happens, here's where the code was, and here's where the code got moved to. It's become its own method, a method that's going to take in some arguments, and there it is, and it's going to pass out an argument. So this future value is on line 30. It's being returned on line 44. And then all I got to do here is, rather than have a method called new method, I would call this thing something to the effect of calculate future value. And there you go. Actually, that's it. And to be honest, this guy's done at this point. I mean, all I did is I basically grabbed some of the logic out of this method and I put it into independently into its own method. So what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to make each method relatively simple and straightforward. Notice that this method now is a straight sequence. Basically, do this, do this, do this, do this. There's very little complexity here. The complexity is hidden inside of this this method called future value. By the way, it's always a good practice to make sure that this actually worked. And yes, it did work. All right, so awesome for us. Also, by the way, I tell you what, let's go a little step further here. I'm going to put that little debugging thing in here. Whoops, wrong spot. There's a breakpoint. I'm going to fire it off again. I'm going to go 100, 12, and 1, and I'm going to go calculate. This will now get me right to that moment where I'm paused, right? So my processing's right where the highlighted is. I'm going to go F11. Now it's about to dive into that method. And notice where the method went now. It's down here. And so as I start going in, processing is no longer in button calculate click. Processing is now moved. It's now moved to this calculate future value thing. And I just go. Okay, so I'm looking at paying attention to the I at the bottom here. So that's 11. So it looks like we're getting close. So now I is not less than 12, which is what months is. So as I push that, and now it's about to leave. Now processing returns back up to here, and future value is being spit out right there. All right, so that was kind of what this part of the video is about. The next part, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this whole thing manually. All right, but I got to say, I was really impressed with this. This was not so much a C#. This style of coding is definitely a C# and a Python and whatever. But the functionality of being able to take this code and make it into its own method as quick as that is definitely a Visual Studio and more advanced IDE concepts. All right, so let me just end that for sure. And let me take my breakpoint out because I suspect that's going to kill me later. And I'll end this video and I'll pick up trying to do this thing manually.